teach our young from preschool that our flag still stands for freedom, and that our rights protect us all whenever we might need them, but they don't. Just bring our children home, bring our children home and leave us all alone. Why is it that so many are dragged to court to have to fight to enjoy basic things we've always thought we have a right to? Answer that. Just bring our children home, bring our children home and leave us all alone. Compared to strangers, a mother tends to raise her own child better. Unless there's harm, you must assume the law says you must let her have her way. Just bring our children home, bring our children home and leave us all alone. Well, first there comes the lying, and then there comes the cheating, and then there comes the stealing, and the cycle keeps repeating. Yes, it does. Just bring our children home, bring our children home and leave us all alone. Profit is the focus, not the children as we've been told. Children are just objects to be won or bought or sold. Stop it now. Just bring our children home, bring our children home and leave us all alone. Your home was once your castle, but that isn't true today. And your kids are only yours until they come take them away, and they might. Just bring our children home, bring our children home and leave us all alone. Just bring our children home, bring our children home and leave us all alone. So I call that Bring Our Children Home and Leave Us All Alone. We teach our young from preschool. Kids learn. My daughter went to preschool 2 days a week from the time she was 2 till she was 5.5. And they learned to say the pledge to the flag. Liberty and justice for all. That's what the flag stands for. And the pledge to the flag. You know, it's liberty. And we teach the kids that from the time they're 2. Old enough to talk. They might not understand exactly what they're saying, but we're still trying to get that into their head. You know, this is America. This is the land of the free. And it's not true. So that's not the reality. But what we're presenting to the very youngest children. So we teach our young from preschool that our flag still stands for freedom and that our rights protect us all whenever we might need them. But they don't. And I learned in court that the Constitution, you don't automatically have any rights. You have to assert your rights. You have to say, you have to make objections. You have to say, this is unconstitutional. These are my rights. This is protected. These rights are protected under the Constitution, and you have to say that. I thought it was automatic until I read Ron and Sherry Palmer's book, Not in the Child's Best Interest. And when I read several appeals court decisions, and they would say very plainly, oops, sorry, you can't, if you didn't raise your constitutional grounds for protecting your rights or whatever, if you don't do it at the trial court level, you missed your chance. You can't bring them up. You can't bring up constitutional issues at the appeal level. Who knows that? And if you didn't have a lawyer, and even the lawyers don't do that so much of the time. Most of these appeals are written by lawyers, and they should know that. But they're not always, the briefs are not always written by the same lawyers that handle the trial. So that's one thing I say is make sure your lawyer prepares your case for appeal and make the record, make your objections, bring up your constitutional issues, and do that at the beginning. So so I had to learn that, but I did raise my assert my rights at the trial court level, and I did get a gag order overturned on appeal, but I wouldn't have if I had not made the issue at the trial court level. Why is it that so many are dragged to court to have to fight to enjoy basic things we always thought we have a right to? So, rights like your parental rights, your right to, parental discretion over child rearing, decisions you make as a parent, the things you do as a parent. That's the family life. There's supposed to be a protected sphere of a family life that is protected by the Constitution. It's fundamental liberties that we take for granted, and people in court are quick to try to take away from you. So that's one thing I wanted to say is we thought we had these rights. So why do we have to go to court and find out, oh, we don't have these rights? Or we enjoyed them until somebody decides to take them away from us. But freedom, we always say freedom isn't really free, and it's not. We think it is, but we have to, what is it? The price of liberty is eternal diligence. That's true. So what else did I say? Compared to strangers, a mother tends to raise her own child better unless there's harm. You must assume the law says you must let her have her way. That goes back to parental rights and parental discretion, and there is such a thing as parental immunity. Let's see, what else did I say? Profit is the focus, not the children. They say, oh, the children's best interest is the primary concern of the courts. That's not true. It's not true. Profit. Children are just objects. Profit or power and control. Power and control is as big of a motivator as money for some people. In fact, it's a bigger motivator for some people. They would rather have power and control than their money. They will pay enormous amounts of money to have power and control over other people's lives. But a lot of times the children are they're used as commodities. Children are just objects to be won or bought or sold. They're treated like trophies, like pawns, and it's really pathetic. And it's not sometimes it's the one parent using their own child against the other parent, and sometimes it's the state. But it's wrong. Children need both parents. Both parents need to respect the child's need and right to have the other parents. And even if you've got the other parents horrible, you shouldn't. I mean, how horrible? How if you married this person or you were in a relationship with this person and you liked them enough to have a baby with them, even if you didn't intend to have the baby, like me, it's like I've got 3 kids with two fathers, and both of the men I had children with are decent human beings, and they've got a lot of good qualities as fathers. And my ex-husband never tried to cut me entirely out of my children's life, and we co-parented for many years. My youngest child's father, we co-parented successfully for 5.5 years until he hired an attorney and decided he didn't want to share anymore. So that's what I've been fighting for 4 years. I've been trying to get back what they took from me, and it's not just the rights to, your parental rights. You've got, there's all kinds of rights that you think you have, like due process and equal protection under the law, and right to be free from cruel and unusual punishment. I can't imagine what kind of punishment. I mean, how the worst. What can people do to you that's worse than taking your child away from you and making you stand back for years and watch your child suffer from the grief and the loss of your role in their life that they need? I mean, that's torture. So you think that you have a right to be protected from that. You think your child has a right to be protected from that kind of trauma, unnecessary court-ordered trauma, but it happens. There's no protection. There was no protection for my daughter in Judge Philip Robinson's courtroom when her dad went and lied, and his lawyer lied to get an order of protection to cut me out of her life for at least a year, and it was at least a year. Your home was once your castle. They say I mean, that goes, I don't know, hundreds of years, maybe, that phrase. A man's home is his castle. That's an old saying. And that's supposed to be protected, The Fourth Amendment, they act like it doesn't apply. In criminal court, there's all kinds of things, protections they've got in criminal court, and you might be doing something really bad in there, and they can't just go in and go fishing around looking for stuff. They have to, they've got hoops to jump through before they can infringe on the privacy of your home, and but in family court, that doesn't seem to apply. Or they find loopholes or whatever. So that's wrong. That's really wrong. Your home was once your castle. That's not true today. Your kids are only yours till they take them away. And that's the thing is there are so many cases, and it's usually the poor people who can't afford private attorneys to go up against the state. But yeah, I've seen so many situations. I mean, the state didn't take my child away, but I have seen so many situations, especially medical kidnapping, where and then on the other hand, a lot of times they'll leave kids with, they'll leave the children in situations where they're being harmed or endangered, and then they'll take kids away from situations where they're being given adequate care, and they're not supposed to, like, do no harm. That's supposed to apply to the state, when we call it Department of Children's Services here, DCS, and other places call it CPS or DSS or whatever. But they harm. They are a menace, and I hope that there needs to be some kind of task force or something. Some people have got to be able to find a way to protect our children, protect our families, and do it in a way that the state stays out. Well, that's already supposed to be the law, but I don't know why it's not being followed. But it's a serious thing, and I've been affected. I've been affected personally. I've been affected by witnessing other people's other children and their parents. I mean, it's heartbreaking. It's some of these kids. They teenagers, whatever, and they're like, what? And a lot of times they do blame themselves. but mostly they don't understand how it happens. I've been through it, and I don't understand how it's unbelievable. But I heard this one teenager told me, what did I ever do? What did my parents ever do to deserve to have this happen to our family? Because it was, and the answer is they did nothing to deserve it. Why did it happen anyway? Well, that's the big questions, because things aren't going along like they're supposed to be, and the laws that are supposed to protect us aren't protecting us because they're not being enforced. There's no oversight. There's no accountability, and that's what needs to change. And it's kind of like in criminal cases, I would rather see guilty people go free than innocent people punished wrongfully. And there's the criminal courts messed up too, but my focus is the courts affecting the family courts, the divorce courts, abuse and neglect, and juvenile court. It's whatever the children. The way the injustices affect the children is my focus, and that's pretty broad. There's a lot of things that cover that. But anyway, that's my song, and put it at the beginning so if people didn't want to listen to everything I had to say about it, wouldn't if they didn't want to listen, they didn't have to. But I wanted to record it for posterity.